Hello guys, welcome back to the crew. Driving all cars, part number 9. The BMW R1200GS. That's what we are looking for here. So it's not really driving all cars, it's driving all bikes this time. It comes with 3 specs: street, dirt and raid. Dirt and raid will be the first that we test here. Of course, can't have interior look here because, well, doesn't have an interior, sorta. The street spec is a bit of annoying if you drive with sort of a cockpit view, because it has that black windscreen there and it's in the middle of your face if you drive around in that thing. Sort of the same for the dirt spec. So you have to change the camera if you drive these bikes, preferably, because otherwise you have that black windscreen in your face and sorta blocks half the road for you. The raid spec has the same, but it's a little windscreen there, so you can sorta see over that one. Of course, we're talking bikes, so one of the pros with the bikes, it's easy to dodge traffic, obviously. For a long time, a lot of these bikes were OP in certain races, but then they came up with the April 2016 patch and they completely ruined the handling of the bikes. This is a full stock version. Pretty quick response, that's why it's easy. But you already see it, they sort of have changed it, you sort of slide more now. The result of that is that you can drift with these bikes now, and that's mainly done for their new feature they come up with in the Summit, the Stunt Race. And that's something that, well, already can say now. For the Stunt Race, at this moment, we have the options between this one, BMW, and the KTM 450. Those are the 2 bikes that we can use in dirt and raid spec for the Stunt Race. And out of these 2, then we are looking at this one. It just does the flips and stuff like that. It does it way easier than the KTM, and especially the triple misses. You can easily do them with this one. KTM, you really need to have enough speed there or you will not make that last flip. But that might all change because they are going to bring a dirt spec and another one, performance, I'm not sure, but or circuit, for the Ducati Monster. So we're gonna have a third player for the Stunt Race into the game here. But at this moment it's BMW or KTM, and then you have to go for the BMW. It handles better. Now for the street spec, it's a bit of a different story. This bike is heavier than the KTM. So if we're gonna compare cars or something with bikes, yeah, well, then the cars are the OP because of that April patch. But they, in general, they do have a high speed. Acceleration, well, we'll see. I have a 26.3 here with the only street spec that I've tested so far, which is the Abarth 500. So we'll see what this one does. Might be a bit faster, but yeah, 26.1. So it's 0.2 faster than a street Abarth. But the Abarth has pretty high top speed, which is not bad with this bike, I think. Although it won't be the best. Because top speed, then we are talking for speed trap events or something for the Summit. You just have to go with the KTM. Seen underdrop that can do 382 kilometers and there's not anything coming close to that, except for one thing: the Street MX-5, because they brought that. It's the latest Summit reward. It has a street spec and it can do 386 kilometers an hour under slipstream. But yeah, the handling is not that good, so I guess we'll have to come across a street speed trap event to see which is faster, the MX-5 or the KTM bike. This qualifier, which is running at the moment, there is no speed trap event, so we can't test it. And even if there was, it has to be a street spec. So, but here's the biggest problem: handling in general, but specifically corner speed. You have to go on the brakes. You really have to slow down to get through the corners. Come down to 120, 130 kilometers an hour, while with a car I can do 150, 160, maybe more in that turn. If you're gonna race with traffic, then the bikes are always in a little advantage there, because it's just way easier to dodge traffic with bikes. But this bike is a bit heavy, so it's definitely more suitable in dirt and race spec, in my opinion. You can cruise around with it somewhere on the roads in free drive. For sure, it's not like it has a horrible handling, but S corner here, yep, I have to brake, otherwise I would have hit the barrier. Not sure what they did with the bikes, but they kinda ruined them. They repatched them in May or June, but mainly circuit and performance bikes. And even then, it is not like it was before. They have improved a bit now since the repatch, but I don't think they did many things with this. That is the other problem with bikes you just saw here. I was leaning forward because if you're just on the throttle with a bike, you might do let's say 180 kilometers or something an hour. If you lean forward, you will do 200. Simple as that. So you're constantly pressing at least two keys, being or buttons, at least the throttle and the lean forward key. The problem with that is if you come onto a jump or something, the bike is going to do stunts on you. As it on that one jump there, it was trying to set in a front flip. So take that in consideration, that if you approach jump, go off the lean forward key, or you will start doing stunts that you do not want to do at that moment. At least not in driving around in a race or in free drive or whatever. .256. It's let's say a very slow time. Although I hit a few things here and there, but still. This is not really a time attack, it's just a test to see how it handles, how it does the corners, how it does the jumps in a downhill section where you can sort of see top speed. Top speed is not that bad once you get there. That's the problem. Acceleration is not that super, so in general these bikes have a good acceleration in the lower gears, but then they sort of die out in the higher gears. The dirt spec, well, it's a bit more bits and bobs, or how do you say that, and which will probably make it a bit heavier than the street spec. I'm doing a 1 mile drag race here because, well, that's just what I do with these things, sort of acceleration test, but on dirt tracks it's corners and you only need the acceleration in the lower gears. As you can see, it 280, 270, 280, and so it dies out, resulting in a 26.3, which is 2/10 slower than the street spec. But that's not what it's for. It's to go off-road, or in this case on the dirt roads. You could go off-road here, but just like street performance and circuit specs, it's kinda limited to 110 miles an hour or 170 kilometers an hour on the dirt, if you do this with a street spec or something. The same goes if you go off-road with this bike, it sorta starts braking. On the dirt road, of course, it is a dirt spec, so it keeps going. Also here you have the quick response. That's what the bikes do. They instantly move, so not often do you see traffic on dirt roads unless you are hanging out with some friends or something, but you're not gonna encounter traffic cars here. Now this is a pretty flat track, a few bumps and a few corners, that's sorta it. And it does that kinda okay. But this is the problem. It can break out on you occasionally, and that is with the April patch. That's the result of it. You can drift with bikes now, and that might be good to some, but if you're talking about time attacks or something, it slows you down. Drifting is fun, but it slows you down. And constantly pressing nitro, and meanwhile my bar is empty, because, well, yeah, as you can see, it slides all over the place, and speed wise it's not even that good either. But at this moment you sort of have to compare it with the KTM bike, and that one is lighter, which also means it's faster. So if you compare those two, this one is slower. If you're gonna compare to the bikes, to the cars I mean, then yeah, well, you're not gonna come close. It's easier to dodge traffic, but there is no traffic on dirt roads, and this is a dirt spec, so you really need to be familiar with the handling of the repatched bikes, and even then you will be smoked by the better dirt specs for sure, unless they make big mistakes or anything like that. On tracks like this you might have a chance, but when a bit sharper corners come into play, nope, you really have to brake. I'm doing like 80 kilometers an hour here. You do this with a car, you put it in a slide up and you go on. And then 5th and 6th gear acceleration is nope, no good. I think at the end the conclusion will be very simple. You can hang out with these bikes, have some fun. You're not gonna break records with it. They are only good for what they repatched them, I guess, being the Stunt Race. And the choice between the KTM and this one is a bit better. Thus the combination is a bit better, and also speed wise it's a bit better, I believe. But like I said, it might all change. I don't know an exact date, but they are going to bring a dirt spec of the Ducati Monster. But that's not gonna be anytime soon, because the first new spec that will be arriving, according to the update chart, is a race spec for the rough. one of the roughs that didn't have a rate spec yet. I think in rate we only have the 3400K. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, although it might be a disappointment, but the rough RT35 in dirt spec is one of the best. Handling is not that best, but it's one of the fastest at least, and so if they're gonna bring a dirt rate spec for that one, might be good. Meanwhile, I came to the conclusion that this little dirt track that I've set up here, well, it takes quite a bit of time, around 5 minutes something. 507 I've done here, but it slides a bit in the corners, and that's, yeah, it's costing you time. If you're gonna talk about time, you're gonna lose time compared to the cars now, with the because of the repatch. Wasn't the case before. I'm not sure about this one. This was a summit reward for, if I'm not mistaken, January and February. And then, so we never had a chance to really test it, because in April they came up with a patch for the bikes, and then they were kind of ruined. So I do know that the KTM bike in dirt spec, well, it was just smoking every freaking car if you did a race in PvP or in the summits or something. But also that one is patched, and so it's no longer the case. Cars are the way to go now in dirt spec, which leaves the bikes in dirt and race spec being the KTM and this BMW, for only one good reason: the Stunt Race. And here we have a finish bug again. Occurs sometimes. You go through the finish in the free drive challenge and you do not get the result screen. Just turn around, drive around a bit, go through the finish again, although it's not longer there, but might take some time, but eventually we'll get the result. The clock is still ticking, but here we go. 30 seconds, the clock was ticking at 55, so you do get the result from the time that you went through the finish. So 30.2. That's 4 seconds slower than the dirt spec. So if we are going to look for speed in race specs, then well, wrong place. It's off-road, that's where they have to stand out, and not on a speedy track, especially not on a mild track. Now we're gonna do that dirt track again, but this time, since this is a race track, we're just gonna try to go from checkpoint to checkpoint with well, basically whatever road we can find. If there is no road, then we go off-road. Simple as that. The checkpoint is there, so time to go off-road. Now this is kind of flat terrain off-road. If you really go into the mountains, and that's what what it is with race spec. It's more of a precision than speed. Also here, watch out with the lean forward key, or it's going to start doing stunts on you. So I am going off the lean forward key on those jumps. Otherwise it's starting to do front flips, back flips, things like that. That's good in a stunt race, but not if you're in a PvP race driving this thing. You want to go as fast as possible, although it's not advisable to take a bike. Just like with the dirt spec, they patched it mainly for the stunt race, I guess, and it slides all over the place once you start going a bit aggressive. Go a bit more aggressive, then the bike will start drifting and sliding all over the place, resulting in you losing time or even spinning out and things like that. And these things were pretty good for certain skill tests like a race line or a hill climb. But that's all. The patch completely killed the things for that, which resulting in people using monster specs and direct cars now, including myself, because well, you have to. The rest are doing it, so you have to follow. But that's not the idea, is it? All over the place. If the jump is a bit high, then the bike starts doing stunts, and that looks cool, but time-wise, that's killing you. So for PvP races, you're losing time because the driver decides to do a little bit of shows like this. Oh, cool. It's not some button I press or something, it just does it out of itself. There is one benefit, again, it's sorta, well, like with street spec, easy to dodge traffic. Well, it is with this one easy to, let's say, go through rocks or something. If you have narrow spaces where you can go through, if the rocks are not too big, because otherwise this happened. But if you have like narrow spaces where you, well, gonna have a hard time getting through with a car, you might get through with this one. And here was doing a backflip again. That's what I mean by the bike is going to pull stunts on you where you do not expect them. Driving on the rear wheel, also one of those disadvantages. I wasn't pressing the lean backward key or the wheelie key, but still I was on one wheel. I am leaning forward here, which sort of puts some pressure on the tire, which makes it go well, pretty okay, but if you're not leaning forward, you will slide more, then you will get this. The bike will break out, it's gonna slide, it's going to go into a drift, and if you hit a rock, it wants to do stunts. Although you don't want it, but the bike does so. This is one of those points, easy to drive through with a bike, where you, with a car, you might hit one of those little rocks. So Pro, I would say it is pretty small, which makes it easy to dodge traffic and or other obstacles. And for the stunt race, of course, this is the way to go. Here we go. Too long on the lean forward key and it starts doing stunts on you. Front flip with a crash. Bit too much on the power, then it does sort of a wheelie, although was not pressing the wheelie key, so resulting in a 5 minutes 48 something. So the rate spec is definitely, but that's not only with the case, it's slower than the dirt spec, but that will also be the case with the cars, I'm assuming. It's just these things are made for more heavy terrain. So what are they good for? Well, as I mentioned a couple of times already, the stunt race. Easy to do jumps with it. There you go, H360. Not a problem. Double Misty, landing, not a problem. Awesome triple misty or something, 1, 2, 3 and 4 landing, not a problem. Of course this is not a stunt race, but you can find enough footage of stunt races on my channel from the summit events. So I'm just trying to replicate some stunts by using the Monster Arena here. They definitely can be used for that, and they're quite a bit of fun trying to find the right combinations. Double front flip also works. Not a problem. Few flips here and there, landings, easy. Oh, that's what they are good for the stunt race, or just you can just hang out in the canyons or something and sort of create your own stunts. And then you have the choice between the KTM or this one, then I would go for this one. The KTM is lighter, so well, it's not as good. I would say if we're comparing those two, already mentioned it a few times. Dirt and race spec for the stunt race, use this BMW. If you're gonna talk street spec, then I would go for the KTM. That's sorta my advice on these two bikes. It might all change once they bring the dirt spec of the Ducati Monster, but we'll see once it gets there. I will see you guys in the next one, and bye for now.